Hi guys. Firstly, apologies for not having a video up yesterday. I came down with a really bad head cold suddenly, and I wasn't able for anything. Hence, there was no update and no video. So apologies for leaving you hanging there. I still have it. You can hear it in my voice probably, but I was kicked out and told to go home by Elaine today. but but instead, I was like, no, I have to do this video for the guys because I didn't get up yesterday. So I won't spend too much time on it. I'll be very brief. But I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, and I wanted to give you guys the results of the survey and talk about what we were going to do next. So, firstly, thank you to everybody who participated in the survey. There was about 160 of you, thank you for taking the time and answering questions, and thank you for all of your positive comments and encouragement. It was really lovely to see that, especially when something that you put a lot of time and effort into doesn't succeed. Seeing people being encouraging and supportive of you to get up and try again is just lovely. So thank you very much for that. So 93.46% of you wanted to relaunch. So I think that's pretty obvious that we have to relaunch the campaign. I've already made that executive decision, so we will relaunch. We'll probably do it in another few weeks. I know a couple of people mentioned that there's dice campaigns currently on Kickstarter. It'd be nice to kind of get on the other side of them as well. And also give me some time to kind of work out how everything's going to go. I don't want to leave it too late though, because once we get into the Christmas time, we're going to be super busy, and I don't want to not have the time to put it into the Kickstarter. A few of you were saying as well that to leave the Kickstarter longer than a week. I do think that's a smart idea. After a lot of you guys said that you would back it. In fact, 94% of you said you'd back it if it started up in a week, but I think if we give it a couple weeks and give me a chance to kind of rejig the financials on it a little bit, I can come back to it then, and we can maybe run it for 3 or 4 weeks again and see how we get on. So 54% to 46% of you said that you preferred 11 dice sets to 7 dice, which matches up perfectly with the research that I did before the campaign. Having said that, though, I do have an idea for how we can make the 7 dice sets work. You're going to have to leave that one with me because I don't want to announce anything just yet, but the idea is that I would love to give you guys the choice. So I think there is going to be a way for me to be able to do that. But yeah, leave that one with me for now. And then 55% of you said yes, you wanted add-ons on the campaign, which is really great for a couple reasons. But first of all, because some of you left some really awesome ideas and comments for what we could do with the add-ons. So I want to talk about that a little bit in a second, because one of the other things that you guys talked about was being able to choose the number of dice sets that you're pledging for. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason I didn't do that in the first campaign was because I had the woodworking on it, and I didn't want to kind of like overload you guys with like backing options, right? That doesn't help anybody when you have like 1,000,001 choices. But if we're reducing it now and only going with the dice, I think it's going to be, I think it's really doable, right? So we'll look at that and see what we can do in terms of setting that up, doing like, if you want 1, 2, 3, or 4 dice sets. And also, a couple of you mentioned actually having the add-ons be this part of the stretch goals, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to incorporate that. And a couple of you also mentioned that the stretch goals you felt were probably a little bit too high. I would agree with you on that. This is our first campaign, so I didn't really know how to set the stretch goals to be realistic. I didn't want us to like hit stretch goals like every day type of thing, but since I didn't know kind of where things were going to go with the campaign, I didn't really know where to set them. So I have a better idea now. So definitely we'll reduce the upper limits for those stretch goals. And then what I think we'll do is we'll add the add-ons into the stretch goals. And then one of the first add-ons we're going to do is going to be being able to choose to add on additional dice sets, right? As well as a Kickstarter exclusive dice set. So I haven't quite yet figured out how we want to do that. I have a couple ideas for what that might look like. But the first stretch goal is going to definitely include a Kickstarter exclusive set. So I think I'm really excited by that, and I hope you guys are as well. I know a couple of you said in the comments that would be a cool idea. So I agree with you. I think it would be an awesome idea. So we'll try to include that. Some of you mentioned about advertising, and I did sink some of my own money into advertising. I didn't actually have that as a part of the Kickstarter because I wasn't really sure how to work that. But just to mention, thank you for the feedback, you guys. It's really lovely to see people have faith in advertising. But what I found when I was doing the advertising was that there wasn't a lot of return on that. And I've gotten really good at honing in on the right type of people when it comes to advertising on social media, and we just weren't getting the backers for it. So I think that's partly because of some of the things that we've talked about before, like the limit and things like that. So I will go back and try to advertise again. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because the best type of advertising is when you guys are out there telling everybody about it and getting them to back it, because you're much more likely to back something that you're from somebody you've never heard of if you have people out there going, no, these guys are brilliant, this is a great campaign, you should back it. So the best advertising is always going to come from you guys, and that's really where I'm going to look for your guys' support in terms of pushing on social media again and getting the word out. And I was actually trying to think, like, what would be a cool way for us to work together on that. And I'll have more of a think about it, but I have a couple ideas on how it could be really cool where you guys, because we're all a part of it, right? You guys are investing in the campaign, you want to see it succeed. So how can we work together so that you guys are able to advertise, quote quote, but like, tell your friends about it and stuff like that, and it not be too much of a over abundance of it, I suppose. Right. So those are kind of the main things I want to talk about in terms of the comments. Left at the end was just some of those ideas. Uh, the Kickstarter, I'm thinking we're going to launch probably the second week of October, and we're going to run it. I'm thinking between 2 and 4 weeks, somewhere in there. I don't want to run it for an entire month again because one of the things that I found with the month is that it got really long. And I actually had it for a little bit longer than a month. I had it for 35 days, but because I wanted to try to give people a chance to budget. But realistically speaking, I don't think we need to run it for that long again. Plus, also towards the end of October, we get into the Halloween period, and yeah, there's a lot kind of going on there. So I kind of want to try to keep it short and sweet. So listen, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, for supporting us. This is the final update for this Kickstarter. I will relaunch the Kickstarter in the next few weeks, I think. Again, with more details as I try to figure out what those numbers are going to look like and dates and everything else. And I'll be keeping you guys updated on social media. So if you haven't already, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, whichever your social media poison is, and we'll keep you guys up to date. And yeah, so listen, guys, thank you again for all of your support, your generosity, your positivity, your encouragement. Thank you for everything, guys. And yeah, toodaloo.